Well, you don't see gold casting grain very often, and I have here a little petri dish of it to showcase here today and to talk about whether or not it is a good buy as a gold investment. I have kilos upon kilos of silver casting grain, but only this tiny little petri dish of gold casting grain. How much does this weigh? I'd love for you to get your predictions down in the comment section of how much gold is actually here and how much it's worth. So jump down to the comments and have a guess, and we'll weigh it up at the end of the video and see who is closest. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for this week's edition of In Focus Friday, the show where we take a good close look at cool things made of silver and gold. And today we're going to be having a look at a great many very small but very cool pieces of gold. This little petri dish is 999 fine gold casting grain, or gold shot as it's more commonly known. I have a lot of silver shot which I use to pour my own silver. I also have this little petri. This is all the gold shot I own, by the way. I have kilos upon kilos of this silver casting grain, but this is all the gold shot I own. And there's a good reason for that, and that's part of the reason why I asked you in that initial intro to get your guesses down in that comment section of quite how much gold you think is in this little petri dish, because it's quite deceptive how dense gold is. Get your ounces, get your gram guesses down there, and get your value in pounds or dollars. It'll be really interesting to see if anybody gets it bang on, which I think would be very interesting. So we'll talk about the weight of it in a little bit, and I'll get the very accurate scales I have here out, and we'll have a good old weigh. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about it as an investment, whether or not it is worth looking at as gold stackers. Should you be getting some of it? One of the big issues with gold as an investment is that fractional gold is exceptionally expensive in a premium. Now, if you buy a 1 gram gold bar, you're going to be paying nearly 50% premium on its metal weight, which is, of course, ridiculously high, and it's often very difficult to get that kind of premium back out from a dealer at the other end. Often you'll have to actually go and sell it on the second-hand market, eBay, or wherever it might be, and it's very difficult to sell. The market for them is not great, and I've never been an advertiser, so to speak, of buying fractional gold little bars and coins and things like that. I think they're just too much of a premium without any of the upside. Now, that is not the case with gold casting grain, because often you can get it for a couple of percent over spot. This stuff here was 1.5% over spot price when I bought it last year. It's actually sourced from the Royal Canadian Mint via the European Mint, so really nice kind of, I like to think that it's come from some rolling Canadian brook on a mountainside, and I actually watch a really interesting and fun YouTube channel called Pioneer Paulie, who goes and does lots of gold searching, gold hunting, panning, that's it, gold panning in the creeks of the Canadian wilderness. And I like to think that perhaps a few atoms of this gold maybe one day pass through his pan if he's sold any. I don't know if he sells any. But anyway, the point is, it's Canadian gold. I love it. I think it's wonderful. And for 1.5% over spot, to have all of these tiny little granules, which in of themselves weigh, fractions of a gram, it's really quite attractive in the sense that you've got these tiny little fractional pieces of gold. And you might think, oh my God, well, that's wonderful. That's exactly what I was looking for. There are, of course, some negatives, and the negatives do unfortunately far outweigh the positives. Now, of course, with every single little granule, it's incredibly difficult to verify its gold purity. Now, if you're just going down to the local shops, in an apocalypse and zombies are rolling around everywhere or whatever it might be, and you're trying to get your groceries with some gold, and you've got a 1 ounce gold coin, and somebody then tries and gives you change in the form of gold casting shot or gold grain like this, it's going to be very difficult for you to know that what you're getting is indeed gold without any kind of equipment there to test it, without any even with equipment. If they're giving you this many granules of gold, I haven't done a count of how many granules are here, but there's quite a few. It'd take you a while to verify each and every one, and all it takes is a couple that are not made of pure gold to really stuff up your little petri dish of purity here. That's a great phrase, petri dish of purity. I should patent that. So, the big barrier here is, of course, the individual nature of every single granule is very difficult to verify, very difficult to actively, check. I'm going to try and hold this up to the camera without dropping it, because I feel like this could go badly wrong. We'll see. We'll do a little bit of a sneaky preview as to how much things weigh, see if this even registers on the scale. It should do. This is a very, very accurate set of weighing scales, but it's tiny. You know, this really is very difficult, very fiddly to have what Pioneer Paulie would barely say is a picker. So what does it weigh, this one tiny little granule? 0.71 of a gram, so a decent amount there. You know, this tiny little granule here at 45 pounds a gram right now, that's an approximate amount of about 30-ish pounds, 30 pounds for this tiny little grain of gold here. They're no bigger than, well, it's tinier than my tiny thumbnail. It is really, really, really small, but incredibly valuable. That is quite staggering that this one tiny granule is worth 30 pounds, thereabouts. But is it worth 30 pounds? What would happen if you take this little package of gold to a bullion dealer or a coin shop? Now, I had a batch of gold casting grain. It's actually the third batch of casting grain that I've had gold-wise in my existence. The first one I melted into a gold bar, which looked incredible. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life to pour gold, and I would love to do it more. But very sadly, because the environment that I work in is not separate to my silver workshop, there were little tiny contaminants of silver on that gold bar that it made it fail its assay test. And there's a whole series of videos about that I made. If you want to go find out more about it, have a search on my channel. But it was a right wake-up call for me, because I really wanted to do more gold stuff as a limited edition amount of things, but it's put me off doing that. So the second batch of gold casting grain that I got, I actually ended up trading it in with a bullion dealer, Shards. In fact, have I got the resulting coin? Yes, I do. Here it is. I thought I'd got it out. I actually traded it in with Shards in the United Kingdom for a really, really bullion grade, cheap as chips. You can see it really was cheap as chips, £1,002 and 68 pennies, maple leaf. And that was simply because I phoned up a bunch of different dealers out there to see if they would take my 1 ounce of casting grain, and none of them would. So none of the big dealers, none like Atkinson's, Baird & Co., Hatton Garden Metals even, Shards themselves wouldn't actually take the casting grain. None of them would take it. Now, very fortunately, I have quite a few contacts within the sort of social media landscape, and I got in touch with one of my friends on the Silver Forum, who referred me to a bullion buyer in Birmingham, one of the jewellery quarter kind of we buy any gold places, and I got it sold for spot price, which was great. But it was difficult, and it was more difficult than I thought it was, because gold is gold at the end of the day. And I was like, well, surely somebody wants this. It's gold. It's valuable. There's, you know, actual, still tangible gold value here. And often when you sell a coin like this coin here would not get more than spot price from any dealer. It's an absolute, nightmare of a coin with its condition and age, and it's just not very nice at all. But it's still going to sell a lot easier, and I have no doubt that I could even probably sell that horrible coin on places like the Silver Forum for a couple of % over spot price. That's the going rate right now. But this gold casting grain, not so much. It really is not easy to sell. So whilst you've got this wonderful positive potential of having all of this fractional gold at a really low price, it is not practical in the sense of owning it as an investment and actively looking to sell it and get some return on an investment when you get out of it at the other end. It's very difficult to sell. And there's a reason for that. And I'm actually going to talk in depth in a video this weekend on Sunday about why certain bits of gold and silver are often worth more than others, and why you get better buy prices for certain things than you do others. And put it in perspective, this little grub box, I guess I'm calling it, I don't know, it's my scrap box. This is, or pot I should say. This stuff here is all dirty, graphite-y, not very nice to pour with. Often when you re-pour it, it will come out and it'll just look really dirty with the graphite. So that stuff, and potentially this casting grain at some point, will be heading off to that same bullion exchange in Birmingham one day to get more sort of return gold in more favourable form, like a gold coin, for example. That is much more my style. Even a gold bar, a sort of minted gold bar from a government, is much more appealable than this gold casting grain. Now, that does not mean that it is not a good thing to buy. At the end of the day, gold is still very, very valuable, and if you buy it like I did at a couple of percent, I think it was 1.5% over spot price, it can still be a pretty good buy by any stretch of the imagination. If you can still manage to get spot price for it from a gold buying, we buy any gold shop or whatever it is, then that's fantastic. But unfortunately, it's not very easy to do, and I wouldn't even know if that's possible now. At the time, it was kind of a bit of a mates rates type deal. Hopefully that would still stand, or whether they'd give at least 99% of spot. That's still only a 1% switch down, which is not very much considering if you bought a gold coin for 3% over spot and then sold it back to a dealer for spot, you'd still be taking a 3% hit there, which is roughly the same as selling this for 99%. I cannot see anywhere where you would ever, I mean, some places might just not take it, but places that do take it will still pay you 99% or 100% of spot price for it. Even scrap gold at 12 carat or 9 carat gold, they still give essentially 99% of spot price for that particular type of alloy and metal. So generally speaking, it's a safe investment, but it's also not a very practical investment, which is, I guess, where we're going. Now, for the moment of truth, I nearly forgot actually, I was going to start doing my outro. We're going to do some weighing of this gold because it is incredibly deceptive quite how heavy it is. So I hope you've all got your guesses down in that comment section. If you have not guessed yet, then make sure that you head down there before I put it on. No cheating, please. I want honest guesses to see who gets it right. So we've got the scales here, which are very accurate, down to 0.01, and these are trading standards approved and calibrated scales, and they were only calibrated about 3 months ago, I think it was. So it's very, very accurate. So here we go. Let's get the gold into this little pot and see how much it weighs. So we're already up to £50 in value. We go a little bit more. We're over 10 grams now, that's £400. Over half an ounce now, 600, 700 pounds worth, and the value keeps on rising. There we go, that is all of the gold out of there, and we have 37.24 grams. So if you guessed in grams, let's see how close you were, and that works out to be 37.24 divided by 31.10. I always do by 105, which is 1.1972 ounces of gold, with a few other decimal numbers there as well. So 1.19 ounces of gold. Let's just work out what that it works out in pounds. So 1.197 times by 1284. At the moment, that's £1,536 worth of gold there, or in dollar terms, if you are one of our American viewers, 1.197 times 1766, $2,100 worth of gold. Really, really small amount of wealth condensed into a very small space. So that is it from me here today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do hit that thumbs up button and share this around on your social media. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to hit that thumbs up and you're not subscribed, there's a good chance that you'll like videos that we make in the future. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get notifications when we upload videos, then make sure you hit that alarm bell as well. Otherwise, that is it from me today. Have a fantastic weekend ahead, and we'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.